now.
Mad.
I think we've just seen the fixture list come out, and I guess we want to just have a quick discussion about, our hopes for the season, and I guess the first six games. I'm quite happy. Well, not really happy, but I'm quite excited. I don't feel like it's a good mix of fixtures for me. Have you had a chance to look at them, Jay?
Yeah. Like I saw them earlier, and then I'm just looking at them a little bit in depth now as well. Like, and I'm kind of happy about the first one because I feel like it's like a perfect game to try and get a pamming in early.
I know, bro. That's what I saw. You know what the thing is, yeah? The thing is, that was the first thing I looked. I'm like, Brighton, yeah, you might be able to give them a cheeky one still. That's away from home as well. And Brighton, they're the type of team that will try and come onto you as well. That's what I'm going to be thinking. Like, they're going to try and come onto you. It's their first home game of the season. They're going to try and put on a show. This is Chelsea counter-attack. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking about the team of Werner being in there. You know what I mean? So it could be like it could be a situation where, Chelsea could probably fill their boots here, like, and, try to build some confidence for the season. Yeah, build some confidence for the season. Hopefully, Timo Werner gets his first couple of goals in the Chelsea shirt. And, it puts us in good stead for the next game. So that's on the 14th of September. I think the FA and the Premier League decided that Wolves and Chelsea will get an additional 2 days rest in comparison to the rest of the league. I think Manchester United and Man City have got an additional week before they start their next fixture. And then after that, so that's a couple of days after, we have got Liverpool at home, which is it's an interesting game for me because I feel like throughout the season, every time we play Liverpool, we gave them a good game. We gave a good account of ourselves. I don't feel like any of the games were, as much as we lost 5-3, I believe it was, at Anfield, I didn't think it was an absolute pasting. I felt like had we had a competent goalkeeper and a bit more of a solid defence, it could have probably been a lot more fairer score and a close encounter. But again, that's how we face them currently with our current setup, with our current squad, and that's not taking into consideration our new additions, bro. So
I know that's what I was just about to say.
So I'm excited. I can't lie. It's not a thing. When remember last season? I think at the beginning of last season, I looked at the fixture and I'm thinking, Manchester United first game. I was quite nervous, a bit worried. Big game straight away. This season, I'm looking at it thinking, you know what? Fuck it, let's have them, man. I'm not really too upset. Like
I get you, and I think as well, like in Liverpool, all the teams I would have wanted early, I probably would want Liverpool kind of like second game in or first game in even, because I never ever feel too like, even if you lose that game, obviously you're pissed because you want to win the big games, obviously. But at the beginning, where a lot of our new attackers might even still be finding their feet and all of that, it's kind of like a perfect game to kind of see where they'll be at in terms of what they're possibly going to be doing this season. Like if Ziyech and Werner give a good account of themselves against Liverpool, even get us the win, then you're probably thinking, like this is going to be a season where, do you get what I'm saying?
I get it, because for me personally, like when I look at these kind of matches, especially we get like, I feel like every time we've had a big game, like early doors, like, especially like against the Liverpools and stuff, I feel like we tend to do all right. I don't feel like, this is why I don't feel too nervous. It's a weird one for me. Or we could still get a slapping by Liverpool, but I don't know. I feel again it will, like you said, it will give us a good understanding, and it's a weird one. It will give us a good kind of feeling as to see where these players are at and potentially how they could possibly do.
Yeah, because we've spoken a lot about last season, how a lot of the times when we've gone into these games, we don't look threatening and we don't feel like we're going to be threatening. Whereas this season, when it starts, and I'm kind of hoping as soon as I see that front line against Brighton, I'm going to be like, I'm going to see Ziyech. Hopefully, I'm going to see Werner. I'm going to see, Hudson-Odoi because Pulisic is injured as well. Like, Pulisic to come back as well. Like, the attack now all of a sudden. And then, obviously, you will speak about him later, but there's a possibility it could even be Kai Havertz as well. And then you're thinking,
you know what? Do you know what's
how
crazy?
can we not win the games? You know what I'm saying?
It's not about like how, it's the Premier League, so we can't really take any game for granted. Obviously, we know that Brighton, they held us to a draw away from home last season with the last minute overhead kick. So they're a decent side, they're a good side. They have their threats, they have their issues. We're gonna come up against our former boy in Tariq. So it's gonna be interesting. One thing that I'm happy with is the fact that we got Ziyech and Werner in early. So they've been with the squad, they've been training. In terms of settling down, there's not gonna be that period where you're thinking, okay, they need to settle. They're gonna have I guess you've given them now additional period for them to settle in and be familiar with their surroundings, be familiar with the club. I know they've not played Premier League football yet, but they're familiar with the training, what Frank wants from them as well. So they're already involved. They already kind of know. And the best thing that we've seen probably towards the latter part of the season was Frank Lampard building towards this new season. You know what I mean? In terms of the style of play, the way we want to play, and the midfield composition, etc. So again, if we do get Kai Havertz, which for me will be quite transformative, it's going to be very, very interesting. So yeah, against Brighton, I'm hoping for a win. Against Liverpool will be a very interesting game. Either way, it's tight either way. But it's at home. You kind of hope that probably being the old Chelsea, that at home would be quite decent against the bigger side. So we can only hope and pray that we get the win there or get at least a positive result. Then we've got West Brom away. And West Brom away has been a notorious fixture for us. It's quite sad to see them back in the Premier League because, as you guys probably know, when a manager's under the cosh and a Chelsea manager's under the cosh, and then they go to West Brom away, they tend to lose their job. Obviously, I don't think this is going to be the same thing for Frank Lampard, but it's West Brom away, so it's something to be wary of. Yeah, I mean, I think
they're a very different team to some like the West Brom of old as well. I think the West Brom of old, they had like Dawson, who's now at Watford. Yeah, like them big physical guys and stuff like that. Yeah. Like they used to have quite a few of those, but now I think they're balling out a bit.
Now, they play now. They play. They can play. Yeah. They get it on the deck. They get it on the deck now.
I think those kind of teams, a bit like Norwich last season, it's going to be interesting to see because if they stick to their philosophy the same way Norwich tried to do when they came up, I think against us, especially with the players that we've just mentioned, and even with the current players, like we got people like Loftus-Cheek having a nice rest coming back. Hudson-Odoi. We've got all these, even the current lot will give these lot
do them a work.
Yeah, man. Like, so it will be an interesting game. It will be nice to see West Brom, like their different style of play, like how it does for them in the league. But I think it's gonna come unstuck against a lot of the big teams. I think they're just going to have a little bit too much quality.
You like to think so. But again, the games are coming thick and fast. So you have Brighton on the 14th, and then you have Liverpool on the 19th, then you have West Brom on the 26th. And then you get a week off, and Chelsea then play Crystal Palace on the 3rd of October. Crystal Palace at home, actually. That's a great, again, that's another, you get two home games in a row. Yeah, but you get 2 home games in a row. So you got, in between that, you've got the Manchester United game away. So Crystal Palace at home. That's not too bad of a fixture in my opinion.
Zaha might not be there.
I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that could potentially be happening at that club. But one would hope that, Crystal Palace at home, you could possibly get a win there, or you should really be getting a win there. If you want to do anything that season, in the season, you really should be getting a win. And I feel like the thing is with this season, I feel like a lot of the results, like I remember the West Ham at home game where we lost it. We lost I think Southampton. I think we lost to. I think we lost to Bournemouth. We lost to Bournemouth at home. So these kind of games where we're not able to break the deadlock, but then they pinch a goal because they've got confidence that we've not been able to threaten them or score. Yeah. Hopefully that now we've got Ziyech, and if we get Havertz and obviously Timo Werner, hopefully those sort of games don't happen again, because we have the sufficient firepower and creativity to kind of destroy these teams and get their hope and destroy their hope. You know what I mean? So remember what Thomas Muller said to us in the press conference? We want to destroy their hope straight away at the beginning. That's what I want. I want that kind of energy, bro. Like when Muller said it sounded so wavy. I need that energy.
I hear that 100%, because like we're not here to just make up numbers and be fighting for top 4. Like we really and truly, we're not about that. And Lampard, I'm glad he said it at the end of the season. He did say like, yeah, we've done the job, we got top 4, but you know, like this is not really, this is nothing. Like, we don't really want to be here. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think the blend of fixtures so far, what we've gone through, I think there's a lot of lessons to learn early on about the new recruitments of the squad, like because like you said about Palace, we've had similar games where we've lost, and even in the Palace game, the last one, the second time we played them towards the end of the season, when Zaha scored the banger, and then they were all over us like last 10-15 minutes, and we could have easily probably even like lost that game. It's going to be interesting to see the way we deal with like that kind of fixture this season, because I think if we deal with that kind of fixture the way you're talking in terms of like the Muller energy, where we just completely like shatter their hope early, then I think that will set us in good stead to kind of gauge how the team is going to play against the majority of those kind of teams.
Do you know what's funny, yeah? Because I feel like, so we'll get onto this a little bit later on in regards to like the Lampard documentary on Chelsea's website, on Chelsea Fifth Stand app. But it's quite funny because Frank was citing, like in that documentary, like pretty early on, that he clocked how this team would be. It would be up and down. So they'd have moments where they're fantastic and may not get the result. They'd have moments where they're fantastic, get the result. There'd be moments where they play well and don't get the result and get a loss. And there'll be other times where they're just absolutely terrible.
True.
You know what I mean? So he said it pretty early on. Like he kind of recognized pretty early on that, yeah, this is what I'm going to get from these boys. You know what I mean? So I'm not really going to expect much, but I'm hoping for top 4. But it's going to be a slog. And he was right. It was a very, very difficult watch pretty much in the last couple of games. So like you say, in those first 6 games, you probably be able to see really where we're at. You know what I mean? So, and obviously there's Champions League in between all of those games, but I don't think the fixtures will come out for that. But yeah, I feel like within those 6 games, you kind of will get you'd get a feeling and understand as to where we kind of are. So then, obviously after Crystal Palace, you've got Southampton at home, which hopefully should be a decent game. Obviously, Danny Ings was in fantastic form last season. He'll be hoping to continue that this season. Again, then you've got Manchester United away, which is a big game, a very, very big game, because they finished above us, which when they were under us for a large part of the season last season. And maybe that's a part where, although Frank Lampard got his revenge in the FA Cup, this might be a situation where, you know what, he might want to get his own back and get some revenge for the tonking that we received last season. But yeah, other than that, we've got Burnley after that and Sheffield United. So it's going to be interesting. The season is looking, it's literally, we're coming back into Premier League football, man. So it's a crazy one. It's a crazy one. The last couple of months have been absolutely insane, and the fact that football was coming around so quickly is amazing for me personally. I've got no complaints.
I'm shocked at the quality. Like I'm shocked at like the consistency of like some of the quality though as well. Like considering like the games have been coming in so fast. Like it's literally been football on. Like I feel like there's been football on every day. Do you get this?
And even next week, there's a Community Shield. Obviously, we would have hoped to have played in that, but to a degree, you probably probably really
Probably kind of happy that you ain't got that fixture. So
exactly. You're kind of happy that you don't have that fixture, really and truly, because it's a lot. It's a lot. The workload has been, it's quite heavy on our players. Obviously, we lost Christian Pulisic for 6 weeks. Lost Aspilicueta for 4 weeks as a result of a torn or damaged hamstring. So it's been quite heavy on the players. So this rest has been quite important.